काय रे सचिन, कशी तयारी?
होळी आहे साहेब. मला पुरणपोळी खायची आहे.
मग बनवूया.
बनवाल का?
एक काम करतो, तू पण खा, ह्यांना पण शिकूया. तयारी करून येतो. Hey guys, it's me, the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and welcome to Rajshri Food, which is the ultimate destination for 100% vegetarian recipes. Well, the recipe that I am making today is a Holi special Puran Poli. It's Sachin's favorite, and I'm sure it's yours too. Let's begin. Well, Puran Poli is divided into two words. It's Puran and Poli. Puran here is the stuffing, and Poli, of course, is a bread. It's an Indian bread which is sweet. Let's first begin with the Puran or the stuffing, which is very important and very critical at the same time, because this is the recipe which is simple, it's beautiful, it's sweet, it's soft, it's fantastic, but at the same time, it's equally difficult. Albeit, you should get the measurements correct. So first, let's look at the measurements. The first thing is getting the quantity right or the measurements right. For this, the filling is made up of two ingredients. Absolutely plain and simple. It's Jaggery and Chana Dal. Well, in the market, you get various types of Jaggery. Classically, in Maharashtra, you get two types. One is for making mithais and things like that, and the other one is for making chikki. The one that's required for chikki is kind of sticky. It also kind of caramelizes, and this one, which is the sweet Jaggery, is generally used for mithais. Puran Poli uses this. So remember this, because it makes a lot of difference later, not now. Equal quantities of Jaggery and Chana Dal. What you need to do with the Chana Dal is wash it nicely at least 2 to 3 times, and then you soak it in warm water at least for an hour. Well, you can do it overnight as well, but an hour in warm water is also good. If you have the chance, do it overnight. So these two, critically important. What you need to do first is use a pressure cooker or a pressure pan. And to this, we're going to add in the washed and soaked Chana Dal. Well, the Puran is all about getting the measurements right, and I'm again and again telling this because if you get the measurements wrong, you'll get a dal, right? So let's not go to that stage and that step. Let's add in a cup full of water to this. And to kind of balance the flavors, I'm adding in just a touch of salt. Do not overdo this because you're not looking at salting the dal. All you're looking at is balancing the sweetness. That's about it. Let's keep this aside for now. You swirl this once, twice over. The next is, of course, to cover this. Turn the flame on and allow this to cook under 4 whistles or till it is just kind of soft to touch. There has to be that one dot, or the center rather, that needs to be a little undone, and I'll soon tell you why. With this, it's been 4 whistles. Off goes the flame, and you need to wait for the pressure to subside. Only then will you open this. The pressure has subsided. The Chana Dal has perfectly cooked. Let's drain all of this. And the draining liquid or the liquor that you get now is also converted into a dal-like amti, and that is known as the kat or the katachi amti, which is popularly served along with Puran Poli. Well, one thing that I want all of you to come closer and watch. There is a little bit of a powdery substance right in the center, and that's where the Chana Dal is just a touch raw, and that's exactly how we want it, because you do not want this to convert into a mush. You do not want it liquid. You want it like a little thick paste. We'll see how. Once the liquid gets drained out, we need to start mashing the hot lentils like so. You'll see that it starts trailing down from the bottom, and that is the soft mash that we're looking at. Well, if you scrape this, you will realize and notice that this becomes absolutely smooth and lump-free, and that is the essence of a true Puran, because it has to be soft, smooth, and absolutely luscious. So the next step is to press all of this down and mash it up. Well, if you observe by now, I'm deliberately pressing this in a tawa because that is the next cookware. Let's scrape all of this and let's move on to the next step, and that is cooking this along with Jaggery, because we want a nice sweet mass, which is also flavored with some wonderful things. This is actually pasted, or this is actually strained in something called a Puran Yantra. Well, it's a classic equipment which is there in most Maharashtrian homes. Well, I completely understand that you may not have that in your home, so I am showing you this home trick. Remember that. With this straight moves on the flame, and to this I'm going to add in equal amount of grated jaggery. Well, Puran Poli, for the uninitiated, comes from different regions in Maharashtra. Well, Maharashtra, for the ones who do not know, is made up of 36 districts. Every district, every home, every village, every alley, every city in Maharashtra makes Puran Poli differently. It's flavored with nutmeg, it's flavored with kesar, it's flavored with ginger, it's flavored with cardamom, zillions of things. But I personally have my own wonderful mix, and that is here for all of you. To begin with, it has ginger powder. And along with this, I'm going to add in grated nutmeg. Well, grated nutmeg is another unkept secret of the Puran Poli world. So let's add that in. And finally to this, I'm adding in cardamom, green cardamom. Let's add in the cardamom powder. Let's mix all of this, and you will soon realize that the jaggery will start melting and actually start becoming liquid, and you'll see a very thick, dense, dal-like mixture, which again gets evaporated, gets cooked, and again lumps back to a corner. We'll see that gradually. After constant stirring for almost 8 to 9 minutes, you'll see and notice that it all starts sticking at the bottom, and all that is now sticking converts into a powder form. Well, that's the stage where off goes the flame, and all of this gets removed in a bowl for the mixture to start cooling down to room temperature. Ensure that you do not scrape the burnt bits, because you're not looking at lumps again, and the burnt bits could be lumpy. So let it be as smooth as it can. And next, while this is cooling, let's move on to the next step, and that is making the poli part of it, and that is the dough. Let's begin. I'm using refined flour, 100%. What you can also do is take 50-50. You can take wheat flour and refined flour, or there are some I know that make this completely with wheat flour, but I personally like the one with refined flour. Let's create a little bit of a pit. Add in just a pinch of salt again, because it's flour, it's a dough. Just a pinch of salt is just going to kind of balance and bring out all the flavors from this. And this needs to be kneaded with the help of water and oil. More of oil, remember that. Well, for the detailed measurements, of course, you need to click in the description box below, because to make the recipe, you need a detailed set of measurements, and you'll find it there. Next, with the help of water and oil, you need to make this into an absolutely soft dough, which is softer than what you can imagine. We'll soon show you how. While doing this, you also, of course, need to start cleaning the sides of the bowl, because that's when you may have some extra flour, which is not required at this stage. All you need to do is knead this, punch it, remove all your stress for the next 12-15 minutes, and convert this into an absolutely smooth and pliable dough. When I say smooth, I mean extra smooth, because literally, if you notice, the dough is almost half the quantity of the puran. Now just imagine you have this smaller piece of dough, and you have to literally wrap it around a lemon-sized ball of the puran. It has to be literally that soft and without tearing. Now if you notice, the gluten has formed wonderfully well, and the dough is literally not breaking when I tear. That's what I'm looking at. Once it reaches almost this kind of a consistency, all you need to do is knock it back, bring it all together in the bowl, add in another tablespoon of oil, which is very important, so that the dough, of course, is slack, but it's also oily. This is literally like a chikna dough or a chikna atta. Roll it and allow it to rest for 12 to 15 minutes, and this is compulsory. Please remember that, because the gluten literally has to become so elastic that it rolls over a lemon-sized ball of the filling. So let this be aside, and let's begin with literally rolling a Puran Poli. Our dough is ready and so is the puran or the stuffing. Let's move on to shaping it. For that, of course, you need to divide the dough and the puran or the stuffing into multiple pieces. The puran, of course, would be lemon-sized ball, nice and firm, like so. Let's keep this aside for now. It almost looks like a laddu, and that's what you're looking at. Once this is ready, we need to move on to the dough, which is absolutely slack, if you see, and little sticky, and that's exactly what we're looking at. Just let's fold it once, twice over, and there we need to pinch it into balls which are smaller than this, roughly like so. Well, it's absolutely slack and sticky. Well, just pat it onto your left hand with your fingers, or your thumb rather, and encase this ball right in the center. The next step is to just press this and lift the borders like so. Well, this could get a little trickier, but with practice, trust me, this is going to be super fun. Your family is going to thank you forever. Let's press this lightly. And the next step is this gets dunked into refined flour or whole wheat flour, whatever you're using. And this needs to get rolled into an absolutely paper thin chapati. Well, again, that's personal. If you like it nice and thick, you can leave it at that. I like it a little thinner, so I'm going to roll it a little thinner. Keep using refined flour once, twice over, because this, trust me, can get extremely tricky because the dough is very soft and so is the filling. Chances are they may get punctured here and there, but it's practice, trust me. Let's smear in some flour. Let's turn it over. Let's smear in some more and roll this. Once you start seeing that the puran or the stuffing is kind of almost getting seen, that's where you literally stop. Till then, keep rolling, because a nice thin Puran Poli is going to be just fantastic. Nice and thin. The tawa is hot enough. Let's transfer this. And we need to cook this on one side till it roughly starts getting those bubbles, and that's what we're looking at and waiting for. Once you see these little bubbles on top, you need to flip this over very gently, and this needs to be smeared with desi ghee. Let's give this a quick flip, and the ghee needs to go on the other side as well. This puffing up will only happen with practice, and that's only and only when you get all the little things correct in this recipe. Let it get this beautiful brown color on both the sides, and with this, your sumptuous Puran Poli is done and ready. And trust me, do not wait for anything on the planet. This straight goes on the plate and in front of the person that you made this specially for. With this, let's start making some more Puran Polis, because it's Holi and it's celebration time. With this, Puran Poli is done and ready. Yeah, this actually takes me down memory lane, because when I'd come back from Gulf many years back, this is the first recipe that I ever made on television, and also today for the internet. Well, I can't invite all of you here to taste it as promised, but I have someone here. Of course, you've seen him, and this recipe was also made for him. So Sachin, please can I have you? हे खा आणि कशी झाली ते सांग.
खूप छान सर.
छान झाली?
एक नंबर.
नक्की.
खूप. खरंच.
Well, he's liked it for sure. Make this for your family, make this for your friends, and trust me, this is that one recipe which will connect all of you again. And if you have stories of this, please let us know in the comment section below. Also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rajshri Food. Bye for now.